isn't cheap. So, why is everyone still moving here? Okay, let's have a quick pause. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but apparently today is Florida Day, which honestly made me laugh. Well, to be honest, every day is Florida Day to me, but because Florida always seems to be, quote unquote, a thing. And yes, every single day, online, it is got me thinking. Florida is always trending. Always. Always debated. Always talked about. And yet, yes, people keep moving here. Even though Florida isn't cheap. No, it kind of used to be, but that's long gone, the day's gone. At least, South Florida. There's some parts you can find that are okay and they're great, but for the most part, no, it's not. So today I'm not here to hype Florida. No. I'm not here to sell Florida. And I'm not here to argue politics. No, not at all. I just want to ask a simple question. Why are people still choosing Florida? They keep coming here. It's a good question, honest question. Florida has kind of become a mirror, per se. Maybe a mirror. People project onto it for sure. Kind of their frustrations. For example, like their fears, their values, and sometimes their jokes, or I should say a lot of times. But here's the part I find interesting. People don't usually move toward places that they don't truly believe are failing. Correct? So, and yet, it might be said so. It's not true. The moving trucks just keep coming. That's for sure. They do. So, maybe this conversation isn't really about Florida at all. No, maybe not. It feels like it's missing, people are just, it's about maybe people feeling missing out where they are now, maybe, if that makes sense. And yes, the weather does matter. In fact, that's how I ended up getting here and staying here and thinking, oh my gosh, where the heck else am I going to ever go where the weather's ever going to be this nice all the time? And I've come to acclimate to the weather, obviously, and love the people and the cultures and everything, the differences. It's just a nice place, and it's very Americano, even though it's very diverse. So the sun matters. Being outside matters. Feeling alive matters. But if weather were the only reason, I don't think that people would just move here. They could just, you can move a lot of places that are kind of like almost warm most of the year, things like that. So, and they don't. Florida's hot. It is humid. It has storms. We obviously know it has storms and hurricanes and tornadoes. All kinds of stuff. But honestly, that's not everywhere. And yeah, so no. It's not the weather alone, though. That doesn't explain it. What the sunshine really does, though, is it changes how people feel. I can attest to that 100%. It changes energy. It changes routine, for sure. It most certainly changes your daily life. And honestly, for a lot of families, that emotional shift, it matters more. It matters more than numbers. Numbers on a spreadsheet or, something like that. I think Florida kind of really represents something else. Not perfection, not by any means, no. Not paradise. I do have to say, though, some parts I've lived in before I moved to the spot where I'm at, how you doing? Just another day in paradise. I'm telling you, for the first year at least I moved here, anywhere I was, you asked somebody how are you doing? Oh, just another day in paradise. I was, what? Not that I didn't think it wasn't, but I just thought it was weird because everywhere you went, everyone you saw, just another day in paradise. And I didn't quite get that, but okay. Maybe it's not paradise, but it's a good option maybe. Kind of the feeling that you can start over, maybe. I see a lot of those start overs, and honestly, that's kind of how I feel a lot too. I came from somewhere totally different in every way than here, and so a lot of ways you did start over completely. Good, and lots of bad too. That's true. But the fact, or the feeling I should say, that you can maybe build something new, that life that doesn't have a feeling that is so heavy maybe from whatever they might be leaving from, whether that isn't, maybe true or not, but people believe it. And we all know belief is very powerful. A lot of people feel boxed in where they are, that's for sure. Maybe not always by cost, but yes, cost. By systems, by stress, expectations. It's a big deal. And with those expectations, in a lot of ways, Florida does seem lighter to them. I do have to say that, for sure. I mean, depending on where you're at. And in uncertain times, that feeling matters. I mean, you can talk about Florida without politics coming up, for sure. But most people aren't moving here just because of one politician. I mean, not that I can see. Or one headline. They're moving because they want stability. Maybe opportunity. Maybe one that was presented, or maybe just searching out a new one. Some predictability. Control over their daily lives. Maybe that they felt like they were losing for a while. All speculation. You see, Florida has positioned itself as a place that says, come here. Come build here. Come live here. You decide. It's not perfect. No. But it's, in a lot of ways, kind of clear. And I think today's world, more than ever, clarity might really matter. And I do believe it matters. It's kind of like when everything feels uncertain, clarity matters. And that's nice. So let's go ahead and talk honestly about the cost. Florida is much more expensive now in some parts, for sure, than it ever has been, or maybe the whole state. But in some places, it's very expensive. Let's not get that wrong. Housing went up. Insurance is super real. Rent shocked a lot of people, and it's a thing. It's a thing. It's hard trying to get people to, especially the locals. They're having a problem, That's sad. But, so why does everyone still, come here? How do they find work? What's the deal, Or why do they, even if they can't? We get lots of people just showing up. It's because people aren't just comparing prices anymore, I think. I think that they're comparing trade-offs, basically. Or let's do the finite things, taxes. And yeah, there is income potential for sure. Let's not forget, great lifestyle. Long-term plans. I see a lot of younger people in their 30s, they're married, finally, and this or that. And honestly, a lot of them, they're not ready to buy a house yet, here anyways, but we're getting them there. But they're here because they feel like they want to be here, for the kids to grow up and retire here. So, I'm not here to push real estate now. Just here to kind of understand how other people feel, because I have my own understanding, obviously. I'm here. And, housing is a very emotional thing. Some people don't believe so, but it super is. It's, it's where you live and with the family and whatever you do, everything. And where you live affects your whole system, from your nerves to your finances, obviously your kids, like we were saying before, your future. And a lot of people, honestly, the trend has changed. They're not just chasing luxury anymore. So, I feel like they're chasing control, if that makes any sense. And I don't feel like that's shallow. And I don't, let's just pause here for a second. Whether Florida is right for you or not, the real story isn't Florida, I don't think. I think that the real story is why so many people are questioning the life they were told was normal. And you see, that conversation, I think it's only just beginning, just getting started. So, anyways, it's Erin, your favorite South Florida real estate agent, and I'd love to hear from you. Please like, subscribe, send it on. I'd like to hear from you, the good, the bad, the ugly, all that stuff. And I'm so happy that you joined me today. And by the way, we're having an abnormally cold day. It's going to be like, I think something like, 20 degrees tonight. So anyways, have a great night. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow.